Hello and welcome to Mixed Media Mayhem, the August 2022 hop, and our inspiration layout came from Rebecca Moore, and it was picked by Janet. And so I went ahead and I was taking a look at the layout, and I was just trying to figure out what worked. And I was like, oh, I need one photo. So I was going through my photos. Well, I've used so many of those one-off photos that were already sorted, but I found these two of my little guy when he was just a little baby, and I thought this would work perfectly. I did some prep off camera by grabbing the colors and cutting the banner ends, and then Rebecca had a banner over top of her photos, so our little guy looks just so happy in this that I decided to do a happy banner. And then she has zip strips, or actually she put a frame around her layout and she had distressed the edges. Well, instead I wanted to do that with strips, so you can see here that I'm going to do kind of a 6-inch border of 1/2-inch strips all the way around. And to go ahead and kind of give a nod to Rebecca's layout, she had pattern papers in the background, and I didn't find any pattern papers that I really felt spoke to me with the colors in this photo. So I went ahead and grabbed canary, emerald green, and peacock blue, just following the rainbow. And I thought that would be, I was thinking I was going to add a pop of color in like the brown tones, but that doesn't, I end up changing that. But to give some interest to these cardstock pieces, I went ahead and grabbed my stencils, and on that first green with the emerald, I did the love you, because, it's a cute baby smiling at you. How can you not love that? And here I'm doing the hearts, again, just kind of adding into that theme. I don't want this to be too, themed or heart, romantic or hearted up, but I just I know that some of this is going to be behind the photos. Again, just trying to add some depth, some textures. I think one of the things that mixed media does for us is it pushes us to think about adding textures, adding layers, putting something on top of something else, or combining things that we normally wouldn't. Kind of like a good recipe where you accidentally, have apples instead of pears to make this fruit salad, and so that's what you use, and it turns out better than your normal. You use what you have and just kind of have fun with it. So again, here on the blue, I wasn't sure what texture I wanted to put on it. I thought about using the textured paste, but I know I'm going to do that later with another element, so I'm going to go ahead and just continue doing stenciling. This is a border stencil from Close to My Heart, and I'm doing my goal was an ombre. It shows up best on these yellow strips, and what I did is I just on the back side with paper tape taped these two strips together, and they worked perfectly behind this circle with the triangle or with the square element in it. And I'm trying to give an ombre, so the ends are darker and the center is a lighter ink. And like I said, it worked better on the yellow than the blue especially. But when you get to the final layout, I actually think it works good. I'm not even sure if you notice it. I notice it because that's what I was trying to do, so I was looking for it. And I love how these stencils just line right up, and because this is the end, I'm going to go really dark with my emerald green here. I used peacock for all of the inking on the outside borders. So now we have to do some splatters, and I'm going to use the packaging technique. And I found this saran, I can't even think of the right word for it, but it was from some, I don't know if it was cards or it was something that my kids got in the mail, and it was in the top of the recycle bin, and I grabbed it. Well, by the time I used it with the yellow, it was all broke up and split apart, and it just did not hold up well. So I end up changing when I go to the next color. I kind of like, though, that it was a crisper plastic, if that makes any sense. I'm changing here now to just a sandwich bag, and these plastics are softer, so they bend more pliable. So again, I'm wadding it up and it gives a different look. And I'm trying to make these into little circle elements, or at least round elements, again giving a nod back to Rebecca's layout. Now I'm going to grab the peacock ink and I'm just adding some water to it, and this time I'm going to fold up the bag. I didn't make you watch when I cleaned up between each color, because with the yellow I just threw it away, but with the green I had to go wash the bag in the sink. So here I just kind of rolled up that bag to kind of give it, it's kind of triangular, kind of, I used to do with saran wrap some roses, and now I knew I needed some more color, some more splatters, so I'm just taking a paintbrush in that same peacock ink, and I had some problem getting it to come out at first, and then I really hit the brush and you saw it splatter across the page. And you're not going to see this, but this is just a clear shimmer brush, and I just wanted to add some sparkles to it because again, I know later on I have some silver sparkles that I pulled out to use on this that I wanted to make sure the background had. So my texture paste is dried up just a wee bit, so I'm kind of digging to the bottom. And I have this stencil that has both the stripes and the open circles, and I'm just going to use the one striped circle with the textured paste. And if you haven't used this before, it's fun. It just goes on like frosting on a cake. You just kind of, or buttering a piece of bread, you just butter it right through the stencil. And I'm making sure to change the orientation of the lines on the circle just to give it some more interest and make it feel more random, let's say. So I've done 4, and then I'll add one more at the bottom to kind of go with those odd numbers. And I've also tried to make it so that the 2 at the top right and the 2 at the top left are together, and then this 1 at the bottom. So I'm also getting my set of 3 in here. I've popped Rebecca's image back on the screen so you can kind of get an idea of what she did and then where I'm going with this. And these are rub-on colors, metallics, and I got them at an art store probably 15 years ago, and I just never used them. I moved them around. I wanted to use them. I looked at them several times, and I finally decided today is the day. And I love how this turns out. It just adds a nice silver metallic to the textured paste. It helps those stand out from the white background. And then I decided, oh, I have all of these arrows, and then the title letters that I have, I went ahead and took the Adore You from Rebecca's layout. So I have letters that are also they're not the same. I can't think of the word. One is cork and one is fabric, and so they didn't match, but I needed those to get all the letters for the words because they were, you know, partial packed. So you can see kind of in the bottom of the layout how I put those on there, and by putting that silver rub-on over them, it just unifies them. And if you look closely, you can see the difference between the cork ones and the textured paper ones, or foam ones I guess they called, but you have to look pretty close. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of the different elements that I have gathered. I found some ladybugs, and I thought that just having that pop of red would really work in this layout, and I'm hoping to arrange them so that they help you focus on the smiling baby in the center of this. When I pulled out the letters, just so you know, the A, the O, and the E are all the same cork letters, and the D and the R and I believe the O and the U are all the other textured, but they're the same size, similar size anyhow, and again with that silver rub over it, I think it works great. I did go ahead and adhere the borders down, and this is the banner that I made, and I'm not putting my banner on the top where she had it. It just fit so perfectly along the right edge there. But I want to go back to the borders. I distressed all the edges of all of the banners and also just the inside edge of all the borders just to give it that same look that she had. It looked like put a piece of cut down white cardstock over top of the striped background paper, where I added the borders in 6-inch strips. And where they overlapped, I made sure, because I had 3 of the yellows, I always overlapped a yellow piece, so there's just a little bit less yellow on the background, but there's more yellow in the middle with that bigger banner. And then I found some of the blue stickers in the peacock color that just work well again with the pages, so I'm adding these hearts. Again, I don't want to go too themey with the hearts, but just kind of give some visual interest. And she has so many embellishments and different things going on, kind of a random collection of components, that I wanted to give a nod to that. And now here I'm grabbing my silver gems, and I'm just gonna put those again, one more layer of texture, one more visual interest on this page. I'm really excited about how this turned out. I'm really excited to be participating finally in this mixed media hop. There will be links below in the video description of everybody else that's playing along and the core people that do this every month. Maybe here in a few months I'll be able to have my studio set up and ready to do that. Right now I'm just excited to get pages ready for the album. So here's our cute guy, some close-ups of the layout. You can see the different textures of those letters. I just really like how this turned out. Again, here's how you can connect with me on social media and supplies. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to join us. Here's another video you may be interested in. Blessings.